All opinions are those of the participants making them and are not an endorsement of any position, program, religion, or political affiliation. 𝗍𝗲𝐺's Corner is for information, observations, and entertainment. I ask that you like, share, comment, and subscribe. This is DFG, the man with the golden voice, the lady's choice, and of course, smooth as a Rolls Royce. I'm coming to you live from the 571 where I'm having fun and I'm getting things done. Hopefully you're having a great evening on this Tuesday evening. Today was a bittersweet day. Looking at things, we buried our aunt, Mrs. Johnny Mae Shaw, today. She lived to the ripe old age of 83. She would have been 84 this year in Brooklyn, New York. And I had an adventure today trying to get there. My flight was canceled, so I had to wait. Instead of JFK, I flew in LaGuardia. Had to take the Q52 bus, and I had to watch the funeral on Zoom. Now I'm back in the 571 with a swollen toe, and I have everywhere to go. Today we're gonna continue what we had last week with our conversation on the Shannon Sharpe situation. And before we start, I want to shout out everybody who's on. First of all, I want to holla at my co-host, the girl with the most, my also co-host, my favorite girl, the 𝗥𝗲𝗹. What's up, 𝗥𝗲𝗹? Holla at your boy.
Hey, everybody. It's 𝗥𝗲𝗹 calling you from Duval. Letting everybody know I understand what you went through when our nephew passed last year. I went through the same thing and wound up watching him on Streamline in the cab trying to get to the funeral. So I understand your situation and frustration. Just want to give everybody a good heads up or some good news. I became permanent on my temporary job, and now I am official. Yes, signed up for insurance and everything. So I'm happy that I got a permanent job at this time. I'm doing what I love, accounting, and just living my life. Got a beautiful scenery on my way to work every day, on my way home every day, so I'm not stressed out and just watching God's creation on the way home. Yeah,
That's what's up. Everybody give 𝗥𝗲𝗹 a hand, and as she's 1,000 grand, let's do that. Also with us is my sister on the gangster lean. She's out there in Binghamton, and her name is Bean. I know she's coming home from work because her camera's off. What's going on, Bean?
Nope, I'm actually in my bed. I got off early today. Hello, hello, hello. I was hi all. I am up and active and ready to talk. I forgot what's the topic this week, but I'm here listening and I will participate if I have anything to say. And congratulations, sister. Love you.
Mute, girl, please. You mute it. You mute it.
Can't hear you.
You mute it.
Can't hear you, brother.
Yes, I got to be smarter than the equipment, of course.
There you go.
Today, I want to holler at my main man, DJ Dabs, originally from the 256, the 256, now that in 206, now down in Duval, and the betrothed to the 𝗥𝗲𝗹. I also want to shout out to Dream, the DC Wonder, teaching out there in Montgomery County. I want to holler at Miss Kim. She's down here in lovely the 22191, Woodbridge, VA, doing everything every day. I want to holler out at Miss Sum, our resident thespian. And no, thespian is not meaning you like women. That means you just act. And also on YouTube Live, I want to say hey to Miss Nikki down there in the ATL. She's holding it down well, and she's all regular. And usually Big Al's on, but he'll probably come on a little later as we go on. Now, then let's get on with the show. Last week we talked about that Shannon Sharpe situation. We talked about a whole bunch of things that was going on in that world. One of those things was we talked about age gap dating. Um, we also talked about was 19 age and the double standard where 19-year-old females are girls, 19-year-old males are men. And we also talked about she was clear coded. So with that, we talked about that. Did that make a difference? One of the things I want to talk about is especially melanated men in positions with a lot of money and somewhat notoriety and power. Now, I'm going to take the time. I'm going to take the time to talk about this. We look at people with money and we look at them as leaders. I hate to say that, but that's just how it is. And to be the example setters. Charles Barkley said back in the 1990s that he was not a role model. And for the most part, he was right. He was living his life and doing his thing. But since he was seen by people and he was in a position of influence, that made him one, whether he wanted to be or not. So I'm saying that yes, we do have everybody does have a part in what's going on with role model, and that's everybody. All of us on this show, we all influence somebody in the neighborhood or somebody around us or the people we're around. If we're not, we're being influenced by somebody. People in the tail of like Anthony Edwards in the NBA, Shannon Sharpe media, um, Tyreek Hill, football player, and others, and some stars. What happens is their lives are a lot different from people who are in normal life, who you meet in everyday life. They get benefits, perks, goodies, and giveaways that aren't available to the average person or even the above average person. They get in the clubs, um, women and some men. Don't forget that women and some men, they get to see us. They get people throw themselves at them, their time, their places, their money. So they get a sort of warped sense of how society works. A lot of those guys don't develop what I would call proper social skills. Even if they were in the church, they didn't develop proper social skills, or they don't get how people treat them differently because they've always been treated the way they were treated. So what happened with the Shannon Sharpe thing was that he thought this young lady liked him for him, and he was kind of not paying attention to what was going on around him. Um, to some certain extent, Sean Combs, who's currently sitting in the Bing, he's also that because he thought he had money, he was protected, but he didn't have that complexion for the protection, if you know what I mean. Um, Even though I'm not mentioning race does have a play in it. So I want to start off with Dabs being a fellow gentleman and knowing some people that had influence and some fame. What do you think about Shannon Sharpe, and was he do you think he was socially adept to what was going on, even though Monique and Cat Williams told him what was going on and he still did what he did? Go ahead, Dabs.
All right, yeah, yeah. I think if he knew what was going on, he knew what was going on, and he didn't care. So, I mean, he's pretty. Like Tawana said last week, he's pretty forward and straightforward, and that's the kind of person he is. I'm not a fan of his, but I think he knew what he was doing. and he won't, you're muted.
Got to be smarter than equipment. Some. What do you think? What's your opinion on that?